2. All right, Joe, intro us in.
Welcome to Sports Ramble.
I love it. It's going to be great every time. Every time. So first things first, we're going to start off this episode with the South Carolina Clemson game. Dennis, you pretty much called this one dead on. You were off by 2 points.
2 points.
2 points. That's pretty good. South Carolina 31, Clemson 30. I think did we all have South Carolina in this one, or Joe, you had Clemson in this one, I think.
Well, I had Clemson. I've been wildly embarrassed by my picks this week. So what are you gonna do?
I was 1 for 3. 1 for 3 this week. Not a great week for me. We missed on a few, but that's why we're here. So first off, I think we need to talk about the disappointment that DJ has been this year for Clemson football. Just a quick rundown of his stats. He was 8 of 29 for 99 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So I think just talking about that real quick, can anyone explain to me why Dabo Swinney is refusing to start Cade Klubnik over DJ?
I have no explanation.
None. I mean, Dabo Swinney does what he wants. No one fucking knows what he's talking about.
True. I think Dabo really tries to build that family culture, and I wonder if he's afraid of like benching one guy is going to undermine what culture he's built over there at Clemson. But when you're in a matchup like that, like Clemson, this game I think had huge playoff implications because Clemson was in prime position to get that 4th playoff spot, in my opinion, because of the way the playoff committee valued Clemson.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Clemson won that game by a good margin and, everything else fell into place, they were definitely going to be considered for that 4th spot.
Yeah. And now South Carolina has gone back-to-back weeks, knocked off 2 top 10 teams.
Are they in the playoff conversation now, apparently?
No.
Apparently, Alabama and Tennessee.
Hot take.
Alabama is somehow still in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
I would dare say Tennessee is still in the playoff hunt due to this game as well. Depending on what the committee is going to value, because that SC loss doesn't look nearly as bad now with South Carolina. I also think this game cemented Beamer being the South Carolina coach for however long he wants to be there. 2 back-to-back top 10 wins, back-to-back weeks. So yeah, DJ
and 1 on the road.
So yeah, that's my take. DJ has just been disappointing every single game. He cannot run the offense. He's not productive. 8 of 29. You could put a toddler in at quarterback and have him throw the ball up and have the same numbers that DJ had.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going to stop on the DJ thing. If either one of you want to talk about DJ, his performance, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's just underwhelming. I think that's all you got to say about that. But, I mean, I just want to talk about Spencer Rattler on the South Carolina side, smoking the cigar after the game.
Oh, boy. Oh, don't get me started on that guy. QB1. All right, Joe, what you got for Spency? Old Rattler.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know what I mean, he's still got another year. I mean, what's he going to do next year? We don't know. I don't think South Carolina has it to really carry a fucking team, though. But Spencer Rattler looked promising. I'm not really a big Spencer Rattler guy, but.
Unfortunately, Spencer Rattler. Well, here's the thing. I'm watching the game, right? And I see Spencer Rattler, and he has all the arm talent in the world. The kid can sling. He could throw. What did Ben Roethlisberger say about Dwayne Haskins? He'd throw a football through a car wash and it'd come out dry.
Yeah.
Like Spencer Rattler can throw the football just as good, but his decision making is so bad. I saw 2 picks.
Exactly.
Spencer Rattler. And we'll just go Spencer Rattler stats real quick, and it's not bad. 25, 39, 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Again, I think I said Thursday or Friday that Clemson's defense was not an elite defense this year. So he still had 2 picks against him. And I mean, just when he's on, it's like super streaky, but when he's on, he's absolutely killing it.
I mean, he found Antoine Wells, in the 3rd quarter for that deep touchdown. JMU transfer Antoine Wells. Just saying.
There you go. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when the kid is on, it's amazing to watch him play football. It's crazy how good he can be. But the thing is, we see it like a quarter here, a quarter there, 4 quarters against Tennessee.
Let's say 4 quarters against Tennessee.
But I think South Carolina with Spencer Rattler, a quarterback, has a chance to be great. But I don't know if he can put it together for more than a few quarters at a time, maybe one good game. And Tennessee got him this year, unfortunately for me. But Dennis, I mean, you got anything to say about the way that game played out?
I mean, the way that game shook out, exactly how I called it. Well, I was off
Yeah.
by 2 points. Clemson scored 2 more points than I thought they would.
Yeah. You're just
But-
too good.
Well, it should be
Dennis.
noted that Clemson didn't just lose that game when they fumbled the ball in that kickoff return. They lost that game way earlier
Yeah.
than that fourth quarter
Wait.
fumble.
They had to do it to get the momentum. They're trying to do anything to get momentum swing. I don't think it was a terrible call because it worked in a sense. They were going to get the ball maybe an extra 5 yards than a regular kickoff return, but the returner just decided to throw the ball.
Yeah.
To the kicking team, but I don't know. I just think it was really disappointing watching DJ go out there again. Another big performance, another big game. You have a chance to make the playoff. You go out, you win this game at home in a friendly environment, and you do 8 of 29, not even 100 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
You know what
Fucking-
concerns me most about DJ?
What?
I'm sitting here thinking back to week 1 last year when Georgia played Clemson.
Yep.
Final score of that game was what, 3-10?
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing that concerns me is he's not playing much better than them.
No.
He's had 2 full seasons now. And it looks like he's still in week 1.
I agree. I don't know what his deal is. He can't get it together. And for a guy that came in, he was a 5-star recruit. Wasn't he the number 1 quarterback in the nation in his class, or is one of the top quarterbacks in his class, and he's come in there. He's done nothing in my eyes personally but disappoint. Spencer Rattler, great job these last 2 games. You showed what you're capable of. You also made some really boneheaded decisions, but for the most part, if you can play to your potential, you look like the first round pick you were supposed to be at Oklahoma. Also, real quick, Will Shipley is a dog. He's that guy. He's basically all that Clemson has on offense right now.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say about that. Will Shipley's a guy, and
That's all you can say about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only guy that looks like he gave a crap on Clemson's offensive side of the ball. All right, Joe, I want you to kind of take this next one. Go ahead and talk about the Coastal JMU game, because I know you sat and watched that game, and obviously it didn't turn out to be as close as you thought it was. So,
Well, watching the first half of that game, first quarter, it was tight game, close game, 1-score game the entire time. Whole first quarter, I'm pretty sure. JMU just ran with it. They took it away. Their defense stepped up in a big way. They lost 1 4th down stop for a touchdown in the first quarter. After that, defense stood up on their freaking heels. I mean, on their toes, excuse me. It was insane. 47-7 against the best team in the Sun Belt. Yeah.
They boat raced Coastal.
Boat raced. They saw their starters in it, halfway through the fourth. And they were all there just smiling, having fun. They weren't even trying to play football anymore. It was hilarious. And it was just touchdown after touchdown. The run game, unstoppable with Percy Obase, Todd Centennial throwing dimes across the field, all over the place. Defense coming up with forced fumbles, interceptions, everything you want. We missed I think we missed a field goal and an extra point. Our kickers I don't know what's going on with their kickers, but it doesn't really matter when your offense is as productive as it is.
yeah.
And I think that the fact that we're not bowl eligible, we can't compete for a Sun Belt championship is bullshit. We're applying for the waiver for next year. But I mean, we'd go to a bowl game, no question. We win the Sun Belt this year, no question. It's kind of frustrating, but it is proof. I mean, Jamie's the first team to be ranked in their first year in the FBS. I mean, it says something. It says something for the future. I mean, we do have to look for a lot of new players next year. Our run game pretty much, between Percy, Obase, Palmer, and Black, I think we lose 2 out of 3 of them maybe. And I don't know if Todd's coming back next year or not, what's going on with him, but we'll see what Kurt Signetti does next year with a hot team.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all impressed right now with JMU first season in FBS, and they look like a team. They look like they're ready. They were ready for it. just looking at the stats real quick off this game, the thing that stands out to me most is what JMU's defense was able to do, holding I think Jarrett Guest, Coastal's quarterback, 10 of 23, 99 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 reception. Basically holding him to DJ Ugiungalele's numbers.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. And also, another striking thing I'm seeing here is the leading rusher for Coastal had only 29 yards on 7 carries. I didn't watch much of that game. I only was able to see a few of the highlights of it. But it looks like JMU's defense might be legit as
They are
well.
seriously legit. Now their front guys, they're a little small for, an FBS team. It is Sunbelt, so they don't have to be Alabama, Michigan size, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're small, but they are quick and they are agile. So they're
The
athletic. What'd you
We
say?
say this?
high motor.
High motor.
I'm motor guys.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Joe, for that. That was really good. We're definitely gonna let you run with those games that I think needs to be talked about more. Because JMU again they play quality teams. App State played Texas A&M this year. I mean, they were ranked in the top 25. JMU was at one point. So I think a lot of interesting
Oh, and also,
things could come.
this is a Coastal team that was ranked in the AP poll top 25. So
That's true. So I think again, we saw with Cincinnati, the group of 5 does not play bad football. It just doesn't get the coverage that Power 5 teams get. So
of course.
So next, I think I don't want to say the biggest surprise because I think that Michigan-Ohio State game was the biggest surprise of the weekend, but we're going to get to that. But we got to talk here about the USC Notre Dame game. First off, before I can say anything else, Caleb Williams was number 2 in the Heisman race for me coming into this week. Personally, I think it's not even close. He's a clear front runner right now for the Heisman.
He's got it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got it a week early. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything anybody could do at this point, stat wise, like looking back stats, anything you look at, Caleb Williams doesn't win this. But 38-27, USC wins against Notre Dame. Caleb Williams, I think he had 4 rushing touchdowns?
Yeah.
And 1 passing touchdown?
He had 3 rushing touchdowns.
3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. He had 4 total touchdowns. Looking at the stats here, 18 of 22, 232 yards, a touchdown through the air, 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, the guy is just insane. He's the best player in college football. Me and Dennis both had Notre Dame winning that game pretty handily, actually, I think.
Yeah.
We were wrong, to say the least.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I'm not going to apologize, but I was wrong.
I'm not going to apologize, but yeah, I missed the boat pretty bad on that one. Joe, who'd you have in that game?
Honestly, I don't even remember who I picked, but I just remembered it being a wishy-washy. It was anyone's guess on who won that game because we don't know how inconsistent Notre Dame plays. So
that's true. Dennis, go ahead and take this one right now because I know you got some things to say about it. So
what are we taking?
Your thoughts on the game, Caleb Williams, them boys in USC.
I didn't watch a whole lot of the game. I was checking the score. Caleb Williams, he's him. I had Blake Corum as Heisman frontrunner. I don't think with this injury, it's not going to happen. Caleb Williams, he's that guy. And if you look at it, in the last 6 years, Lincoln Riley has 3 quarterbacks that won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another one that was a finalist.
Yeah. Wait, 2 or 3?
He had Baker, Kyler, back-to-back. And then the next year, 2019, when Joe Burrow won it,
Jalen Hurts was a
finalist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 1 finalist. And I think he's going to have a third one.
And now it looks like so.
Yeah, I mean, CJ Stroud's out of it.
Yeah, they're great prospects. But Lincoln Riley has just done a job.
Yeah. I think talk about Lincoln Riley for a second because this guy's just on a different level of coaching, in my opinion. Because I know you're an LSU fan. So in the offseason, you guys were kind of looking, you guys were on your coach hunt. It kind of got bid out by USC for him. Just tell me what you saw about him, why you wanted him at LSU, and then also what he's done this season for USC.
mean, obviously, you want him as your like, regardless of what school you are, right? Like, you're happy with Hooper, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather have Lincoln Riley?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I love Josh Heupel. I think he's turned Tennessee around, but I think I would.
And I like Brian Kelly. I said Brian Kelly was the second best hire outside of Lincoln Riley. But there's a pretty wide margin between the two, I think.
I don't think that's crazy to say.
Like, okay, he's the second best hire, but when the first best is here and the second best is there, like, it's not like they're neck and neck. Like, Lincoln Riley's that guy. And it looks like he's kind of figuring out how to coach defense. He's got the right staff around him. His team's playing more complete football than they were at Oklahoma. Because like we said earlier this week, this USC team looked like those Oklahoma teams that went to the playoff. Just hang 50 points on you. You might hang 49 on them, but they're going to win because they're hanging 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we also need to talk about what I want to touch on real quick. Lincoln Riley has taken a group of transfers. I'm scared to see what USC is going to be in the next 2-3 years when he gets his guys in. Yeah.
All those Southern California recruits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Southern guy, I'm from the South and I'm biased, but let's be real. California might have the best football in the country, high school football in the country. Florida's amazing. Texas is amazing, but modern day, I mean, Long Beach Poly, St. John Bosco, I mean, perennial national contenders. And that's right in his backyard now. He's not trying to get guys to come out to, was it Norman, Oklahoma? Yeah. He's going to have those guys. Yep. And I mean, it's scary to think he's taking a bunch of guys. Granted, he has the best player in college football.
Yeah.
How often is that going to fall into your lap? I don't know, but Lincoln Riley.
Well, for him, it looks like pretty frequently.
Yeah, going forward, especially.
Yeah, the guys. I don't. If I had one coach, I could choose to go play for today. If I had any choice, I know for a fact I would go play for Lincoln Riley, as a quarterback. The guy's just unbelievable coach. 11-1. USC went from, I think they were what 3-4-8 last year.
Yep.
Yeah, 4-8 last year. Lincoln Riley comes into that program. They've been bad since I think 2008 was the last time they've been 11-1. And they've been bad for the past several years. I mean, you got to change. Come in, and he changed the culture. He had transfers come in, and it's hard to get transfers to buy in. And he has made those guys buy in.
Everyone bought in.
Everyone bought in. And I mean, the guy's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You listen to him talk on interviews and stuff, and I'm just like, that guy knows what's going on. And I mean, Notre Dame's quarterback did not play bad. He 23 of 26 for 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. But this stat again, we all talked about Notre Dame's rushing attack is going to be what's detrimental to USC in this game. Their leading rusher, 43 yards.
Yeah.
USC has blown me away. They absolutely deserve that number 4 spot, in my opinion. I think they deserve a spot in the playoff if they go ahead and win the Pac-12 championship. I think they've controlled their own destiny 100%. I don't think no matter what happens championship weekend, they play themselves out if they win. So with that all being said, we praised USC enough. I think it's good for the sport for USC to be good again, but I can't stand them. But Caleb Williams,
I agree.
Caleb Williams, I think he's Heisman front runner at this point. They've basically solidified their spot in the playoff if they win conference championship. So good for them, man. An absolute surprise, but great for them. So Dennis, I know I watched it and I know you watched it. We were about as wrong as you could be on this one. I think you and me missed the mark and we weren't even particularly close. I want you to go ahead and break down what happened, where we went wrong, who JJ McCarthy apparently is in big moments, and who CJ Stroud is not.
I'm going to start this with an apology to JJ McCarthy.
Yep, I owe him one too. I own one too.
Granted, 50% completion. He only completed 12 passes, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
For 263 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Ohio State got exposed.
Yeah.
Ohio State got exposed.
Oh yeah.
I think that was the biggest shocker to me.
And you know who didn't show up? Who are we praising?
Blake
CJ
Corum.
Stroud.
Hmm?
Wait, who
I
you
was
talking about?
praising Blake Corum.
I said Blake Corum was the key to the game because J.J. McCarthy couldn't get it done.
And he took
Yeah.
he had one rush.
Yeah. You know who got it done?
Donovan motherfucking Edwards.
Donovan Edwards, and I would say more importantly, J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Because he got hit both of his big runs. He had a run for, what was it, 75
70
and one for
something.
And then
85.
85, yeah.
Like,
That was at
I
the
got it
end of
right
the
here.
game.
75 and 85. Yeah.
Yep.
At the end of the game, great athlete, great
Put the game
performance by
away.
him. But
Put the
that's
game away.
not what won the game for him. J.J.
No.
McCarthy won the game for him with his, not to mention, he added on a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
He opened the game. Game starts, first drive. J.J. McCarthy, literally might have been like the third play of the game. Rolls to the right, a little bootleg. It's about to take a 5-yard sack and throws it out to his receiver and almost throws a pick. If the DB was like, had his feet in, it's a pick.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh, so this is how this game's going to go.
Yeah.
Ohio State goes up, was it 10-3?
Yep.
And after that, the Wolverines didn't look back.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
They
They came
poured
to
it
me.
on too. They didn't take their foot off the gas the entire game.
They came out after halftime and I don't know what Harbaugh lit up under their butts, but boy, them boys came out the second half ready to play.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna interject here just for a second, Dennis, but I also need to apologize to JJ McCarthy after what we said about him last week because again, 50% completion percentage, but the guy was just making throws play after play after play. I mean, he was when they needed it, he made it happen. They needed those touchdowns, those deep balls from JJ McCarthy, and he just put on a show. Biggest game probably of his career, and not even particularly close. And
He's
he went
young.
out there. He's young. I think what they're going to have him for 3 more years, right? Or 2 more years, because this is his freshman year. And we were all also like, why would Harbaugh bench Cade McNamara, significantly higher floor? JJ proved us all wrong. The guy went out there. I mean, the deep ball impressed me more than anything. They needed it because that was the only way they were going to be able to beat Ohio State. Is developing that passing attack, and I mean, he absolutely went there and balled out.
Especially without Blake Corum in the game. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that was huge.
Without the Heisman frontrunner.
Yeah.
You went out there in the second half and outscored them 28-3.
Crazy.
Just who's got that dog in him? JJ McCarthy has that dog in him, and I didn't
JJ
expect
McCarthy and Harbaugh. Harbaugh also, the doctor called to confirm he does in fact have that dog in him.
Khakis are hot, baby.
The khakis are hot.
The khakis are hot, boy. Smoking over there. That pop pass. What a play call. Drawing. Ohio State knew Michigan's their physical team. They're going to try to run this, get this first down. What does Harbaugh do? We're not winning. We're not losing this game. Watch us win this game right here. We're going to win this game right here. Pop pass, first down. James, great game by Harbaugh. Again, you talked about the rushing touchdown. I think, Dennis, you talked about the rushing touchdown. I watched JJ McCarthy willing to put his body on the line to give Michigan an edge. I did not see that from CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, I mean,
didn't want to slander him, but he did not show up.
No, well, he's talking on social
He
media.
played well. He played well enough, but he didn't win the
decent.
game. He didn't play well enough to win the game.
No. I mean, not that they didn't make Marvin Harrison Jr. a non-factor. I think he had 1 touchdown.
7 receptions for like 120 yards and a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's crazy to me is CJ Stroud, 31 of 48, 349 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. And then he's over there talking to the media about how y'all are gonna say I never won a game, never won a Big Ten championship, never went to the playoff, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, man, CJ, I think you're a great quarterback. I think you're gonna do just fine in the NFL. I think Justin Fields has shown that Ohio State quarterback can be successful in the NFL. But
Yep.
the guy's confidence is so easily broken. I think watching him play, he makes a couple bad decisions, a couple bad plays, and it's like the guy just loses it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you saw too, but to me, I'm seeing like then he's starting to like second guess himself. He's not throwing the ball with confidence. I mean,
that's what I've said all season though.
Yeah.
Is that he looks a lot like Justin Fields. Justin Fields didn't always make great decisions.
Yeah.
But he made them with confidence. And
yeah.
He
and
just
Justin Fields was willing to die on that field.
Yeah. He doesn't have that swagger. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think he's going to do fine. It was just, again, he's over there talking about it. I'm like, I watched J.J. McCarthy, a guy who really hasn't stood out to me all season, go out there and just put his body on the line, make the plays that had to be made. I didn't see that from C.J. Stroud. I don't want to slander him too much. He's absolutely was in the Heisman race. He'll be in New York for that ceremony, but I think that lost him the game. Caleb Williams showed up in the big moment. C.J. Stroud did not. Joe, I want to hear what you have to say about this game as well.
I mean, I've kind of been buttoned in a little bit here and there, but I mean, I agree with everything you guys have said. I didn't watch the entire game. I've just kind of watched the highlights and checked in on the score every now and again. But I don't know. If CJ Stroud doesn't throw those 2 picks, does the whole game change?
I don't think so.
Then, I mean, I don't know if you can really focus on his performance in this game. 2 touchdowns, 349 yards. And the guy was putting it out there. It's just, you can't necessarily blame him for not having, like, he was trying to put the team on his back and he didn't have any help.
And Michigan was the better team.
Michigan was the better team at the end of the day. Yeah.
Which was surprising, I think, to all of us. But I will say he did throw the 1 pick in the red zone.
That's true.
I'm not sure if it was on a 4th down or was it a 3rd down. I'm not sure which down it was on, but I do know he did throw a pick at the red zone. He was trying to make a play happen, check the ball out there. But yeah, no, like you were saying, Joe, I agree.
And in Michigan's defense also proved everything we were saying.
Harbaugh also, I think, 2 years ago they were calling for Harbaugh's job in Michigan. And what has he done since then? Beaten Ohio State, won the game 2 times in a row, once at Michigan, 1 at Ohio State. Made it to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Unless they lose the Big Ten championship, I don't see that happening.
To the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario where that happens. So I mean, look at Harbaugh too. All the credit to Harbaugh, and I think McCarthy also kind of exemplifies some of those traits that Harbaugh's shown over the last 2 years as well. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff to see.
The Wolverines are my pick for the Natty now.
That's a hot take.
That's
about as hot as I get. You just pulled the hot pocket out of the microwave and decided to take a bite out of it. Well, that's what you just did, Dennis.
Now that we're talking about playoffs here, what do you think this means for Ohio State?
Oh,
I don't see Ohio State.
We're gonna have to see where the college football playoff rankings are on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens Tuesday. But right now they're sitting at 5. I mean, do they have a chance to get back in
the AP?
Yeah,
that's what we said. Like, we got to wait for the playoff rankings. But I think if the playoff ranks them at 5,
everybody controls their destiny above them.
Yeah, they're the first one in. If there's a loss in championship weekend,
which the way those 4 teams have been playing, I don't know. USC's their 1 loss was to Utah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Are they going to get their revenge game against Utah, or is Utah going to go out there and play that Rocky Mountain that Rocky Mountain SEC football that they're known to play?
Utah hasn't been great this year. And again, Utah is a very hard place to play. So USC is going to have to go out there. They're going to have to play their brand of football that they're making over there. Lincoln Riley's spitting up. But I think Ohio State right now, they're going to need help, but I think they're the first team in, Joe. I'm glad you brought that up. Also, TCU absolutely dominated Iowa State. TCU
Yeah.
plays Kansas State or Texas
Kansas State.
Kansas State in the Big
K-State.
12 championship. And,
I don't know what's gonna happen with that game, but I mean, I just want like my TCU slander was way out of pocket
Yeah,
after they just destroyed Iowa.
we got humbled pretty hard after the our first podcast. We came out there swinging, and we got humbled pretty heavily. So last thing, I think we need to talk about. Dennis, I know you don't want to. It needs to be said. We lost a contender for the playoff this past weekend. And I mean, we don't have to talk about it in depth because I know you're hurting. I know how I felt after Tennessee lost their spot to South Carolina 2 weeks ago. But what happened, LSU? What happened? What happened? Someone
They
tell
got
me.
exposed.
Like I can't even wrap my mind around what went on there because Texas A&M is not a good football team.
I think they were looking ahead to Georgia. Kind of wrote this one off.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the game, I just like to say that LSU had a 76% chance of winning based on ESPN's probability scale.
Yeah.
And they got beat 38-23. What the most surprising thing to me, LSU's lack of run defense. 38 gave up 38 carries for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. I just did not see that coming. I think that really opened the door for a lot of teams to make it to the playoff. I think that opened the door for USC, opened the door for Ohio State to sneak back in, opened the door for Alabama and Tennessee, I think, as well. Which is great for me, but Dennis, I feel for you, man. That's brutal. I know you watched that game. I mean, do you have anything you want to say about it in particular, or Joe, do you have anything you want to say about it?
I watched the first half, and then I just blacked out because I couldn't take it anymore. That went.
True LSU fan. A true LSU fan.
I mean, I have nothing to add to it. I mean, I work with a bunch of people that went to A&M, so I'm sure I'll hear everything I need to hear about that game tomorrow at work. But sucks for LSU. Sorry, Dennis.
Yeah.
They dropped the ball, and that's that on that.
Real quick too. I just want to hear your guys' opinion. I think Ohio State gets in over Tennessee or Alabama. I don't think it's particularly close, but Tennessee goes out there after losing Hendon Hooker to a Vandy team that had just beat Florida and Kentucky. Not great teams, but SEC teams. Kentucky at one point was ranked in the top 10. Florida was ranked in the top 15 at one point in the season. Tennessee goes out there without Hendon Hooker and absolutely mollywops Vandy, which made my heart happy because I can't stand those nerds down in Nashville. 56-0. Do you guys think that Joe Milton, he's not still very inaccurate. I still wonder about his decision making. But he was 11-21, 147 yards, 1 touchdown. I think Heupel is going to be able to kind of rein him in, keep him from making those big mistakes. Do you think Tennessee has any outside chance of making the playoff whatsoever?
I don't think so.
The CFP does everything in their power to get Alabama in. If it's one of those teams, even though Tennessee has the head-to-head, Alabama still is going to find their way getting in there.
Yeah.
Which I hate more than anyone, right? Like, I can't stand Alabama.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
I mean, I think we talk about teams overlooking their opponent, getting ready for the week following already, like LSU. But I mean, I think for Milton, that was like his proving game against Vanderbilt. So he's going to go out and perform to the best game he has, and the team's going to rally behind him. So I mean, I think that might be one of the explanations for the insane blowout.
Yeah, he was auditioning for a starting spot next year, I think.
Exactly.
Which is his, by the way.
Which is his.
Yeah.
I think Nico's going to sit a year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's all we're gonna cover this episode. I think we're gonna try to hit another one on Thursday. I think is the plan.
Sounds good.
And we will be back soon. Thanks for joining us.